Welcome.
You are watching Line Screw 1.
At North Fraser Pretrial Center in Port Coquitlam, members of the RCMP investigate how an accused killer escaped.
Well, hello tubers. I hope you're doing well under the circumstances. Today is a wonderful day for opportunity to affect change and to talk about something that I rarely talk about on my channel. But there's been some big breaking news in a profession that I worked in many years ago. Over the years, I've worked for the Canadian government in various roles, done many different things. I was briefly in the military. I briefly worked for the Elections Canada. Even worked as a deputy sheriff. Worked for the coroner's office. And among all those other jobs, I did work as a correctional officer in a maximum security facility, actually a couple of maximum security facilities. So it appears that on Thursday, there was another high-level escape. Now, a lot of you watching from countries like the United States or Great Britain, you might think, well, Canada, how much crime do you have? It's probably all low-key stuff, people in jail for, stealing a loaf of bread or sleeping under a bridge or having an overdue library book. Well, oh no! Over the years, we've had a lot of international fugitives from around the world wanted for very serious crimes that have been incarcerated at North Fraser Pretrial. I, in fact, actually started up that jail. I transferred from another facility to be one of the original staff members in 2001. And at the time, it was kind of a very modern flagship facility. But over the years, it's been in the headlines a lot for negative things. And it's mostly because of bad behavior of some staff members. In this case, this is of course just my opinion, but this one falls completely on the head of management, Warden Cheema. Yeah, I know Har, you're going to be watching this. Typically in the corrections branch, as we call it, the branch, it operates like the mafia, where people involved in it cannot speak of anything, especially in public or on social media. You'll get fired or you'll get reprimanded. Often they like to keep their enemies even closer. If you have too many dirty secrets, they won't fire you. No, they'll keep you around to torment you, put you on the worst shift schedule possible, assign you the worst jobs, and just try to ruin your life. Yeah, that's what they do.
But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
Today we're going to talk about the big escape. And I know exactly how it happened, and Warden Cheema knows exactly how it happened. And if he doesn't know, he should have known, because he's the warden. He's been around as long as I have, so he knows, and he should be fired.
Rabih Alkhalil broke out of the maximum security facility Thursday night. Alkhalil is charged with first-degree murder. Investigators are not confirming how he managed to escape the facility, but there are reports a plasma cutting torch was used to cut a hole in the fence.
Now, what happened was we had a case where a couple contractors showed up, busted the guy out of jail from the exterior. Now, this is Corrections 101. Everybody knows that jails are hard to break out from the inside out, but breaking into them from the outside in, that's easy. That's pretty much true for all prisons around the world. And I've toured a lot of prisons even outside of Canada. I know how this works. I do even have an education in criminology. I get it. There's really not much to understand, and I think most of my audience is pretty smart and understand that breaking into a jail, much easier than the opposite of breaking out. Now, it comes down to management's right to mismanage. For years, they have never had any permanent exterior prowl officers on that facility. No, they rely on some shitty sensors that don't work half the time, a bunch of cameras which don't even always point to the right place you need them to point on the exterior, and low staffing levels. That's right, they don't deploy people outside. Now, of course, they're going to say officially, oh yes, the control officer and his partner, they take turns and they're responsible for the prowl. Yeah, I did that for years, actually, personally. I know that facility very well. I know the electronic system. I know how all of it works. The shift schedules, who's responsible for what. Well, that escape happened during a time where the control officers, one's doing a break relief at 5:30 for the APOD officer, and the other guy's running the main show so that the rest of the staff can get out of their living units and have lunch. So there's no time to go out and ask contractors, hey, do you really belong here? And in fact, there's actually no protocol to even see who is to be working out there. There is no communication between the BC Building Corp and the contractors that work there, and even the subcontractors, to tell you who is supposed to be working. Now, they did pick that up after they had another escape years ago, which I actually worked that day, when the Ahmed Tavili escape happened.
North Fraser Pretrial has had escapes before. In 2007, surveillance video showed 37-year-old Ahmed Tavili dressed as a janitor being escorted out by a guard who was promised $50,000 to aid in his escape. Tavili, an organized crime kingpin, has never been caught.
A staff member essentially walked a guy out and gave him janitor contract clothing and walked him out of jail. Yeah, it was corruption, of course it was. But there was no way to really manage who was in the building other than the sworn staff. So, well, what can you do? They fixed that problem. Now there's exhaustive lists of who can come in, and there's protocol involved in that. So they've kind of nipped that at the bud because they're reactionary. They're actually not proactive. Harbippan Cheema, our brilliant warden of that facility, is obviously reactive. I'm pretty sure that if I was to drive down there right now, there'd be some prowl officers, because now there's a lot of attention. And of course, he don't like attention because it could affect his career. And I'm going to say all the things that the staff members aren't allowed to say. Contrary even to the the rumor that, oh, you're going to lose your pension if you speak out against the branch. No, it don't work that way. My right to free speech is absolute, and I don't lose my pension by speaking the things that the staff members aren't allowed to speak about. And let's face it, from the people that I talk to, there is very little confidence in Warden Cheema's performance. He's basically there, like most wardens, for himself. That's all he cares about. And of course, he would love videos like this to go away, and I'm sure I'll have some threats, directly and indirectly, because it's like the mafia. I tell you, it's the mafia. And there's always a few bootlickers, brown-nosers that will, say something in defense of the poor management team, just so that they can get an attaboy from the management and maybe get a leg up on a promotion somewhere down the road. Yeah, that's the kind of organization it is. It's pathetic, it's corrupt, but I will say this about the line staff. The staff that actually do the work, the majority of them are very competent, very honest, and are not corruptible. They're the people that actually do the essential work that is required. Not people like Cheema. Trust me, I've worked many Christmases as a supervisor. We're running the show. There are no managers. They're all off in Barbados or having Christmas, and we're running the show, and we do a good job because you don't need the managers, really, especially bad managers. So this is what we have. We have a situation where there's even other security breaches that I'm aware of, which I'm not going to mention because I really don't want more murderers escaping and hurting innocent people. So I don't know. Do you think somebody in the ministry will actually contact me and say, hey, Andrew, what about those deficiencies and potential escape routes that is going to probably happen in the future? Do you want to share them with us? No, they're not even going to say that because they don't want to know. They don't want to know. They don't want to tackle that because heads will have to roll and changes will have to be made. Same with all the sexual abuse of female staff members, essentially. Oh boy. All these problems are going to come to roost. It's happening in the RCMP, it's happening in the Canadian military. All the Canadian areas of government have so many problems of mismanagement, abuse, bullying and harassing, and poor management that they don't want anybody like me being proactive and actually initiating change because they don't want to go there.
But investigators believe he may be trying to flee the country. connections range from across Canada to the United States, Europe, and Asia. A Canada-wide arrest warrant and an Interpol red notice are being prepared.
So essentially, that escape that happened Thursday happened because of malfeasance, possibly a little bit of inside information, because there are dozens of people like me that are retired out there, even staff that currently work there, that could sell this information of how to escape or corrupt the system. Yeah, there's people out there that could do that. I'm not one of them. I'm just here to effect positive change, and I don't want any money from anybody. I just don't want to see dirtbags wanted for murder and gangsters getting out, hurting more people. Yeah, that's just what I want to do. That's my motivation. But they don't staff the exterior perimeters of the BC Correction Branch prisons properly, especially North Fraser, because I'm very, very familiar with how that works. And they just don't have the staff. They won't spend the money. They don't care. It's all about just getting the maximum production out of the staff. And be damned safety, let's hope for the best. Let's get through this shift. That's what everybody's thinking. Let's just get through this next shift. Let's not worry about tomorrow too much. Well, tomorrow's come, and a very serious alleged murderer involved in the Vancouver gangland lifestyle. I believe he was picked up in Greece. This guy's international. I think he speaks several languages. The guy could be anywhere right now. The guy could be in Athens, Paris, Los Angeles, Vancouver. We don't know. So, well, Cheema, thanks for your incompetence. Thanks for not staffing the exterior prowls properly. Yeah, I know how you're going to throw it. You're going to say, well, yeah, I'm just a disgruntled guy. No, I'm not disgruntled. I'm retired on my own. I've been gone for years, and I'm allowed to speak, and damn you, Cheema, you're not going to stop me from speaking the truth and speaking my opinion. You might be able to bully and harass your staff members and your management team. And in fact, I want to throw in this. Management are under gag orders with non-disclosure agreements. I do not believe they're actually legal in the context in which they're implemented. Even low-level managers, the moment you become a low-level manager, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. So that when you go to the meetings and they decide to pick on people, you actually can't disclose on who you're about to pick on. And I'm not talking about the regular course of business for, disciplinary action, because there's a process for that. It's a very, simple, straightforward legal process. But there's always an agenda to pick on those who they wish, and it's all part of their fun and games. If they had nothing to hide, they wouldn't need non-disclosure agreements. And it's not like it's a company that has military secrets or trade secrets. This isn't General Motors. This isn't SpaceX. No, and this is definitely not the Pentagon. There are no trade secrets when it comes to running a prison. Sure, there's things that you don't want the public to know, things that I won't even talk about because I don't want to empower other people to escape from any of these facilities. But the bullying and harassment and the non-disclosure agreements that really tie the hands of even low-level managers from speaking out and stopping the bullying and harassment and the poor management decisions. The whole thing is like the mafia. It's run like the mafia. You can't discredit the family, And I'm sure some of those mafia members from the branch will be very displeased at this video and the fact that I know that Cheema, the warden of North Fraser Pretrial, he knows the schedules, he knows the lack of staffing. He's known it for years. Could care less about redeploying staff. Absolutely within his power to redeploy staff 24 hours a day to have a guy out there in a pickup truck and a weapon. Yeah, even a weapon. Don't even get me started about how they've taken away the weapons. There are no more armed response. They took away the shotguns. They took away the handguns. They even took away the tasers. Can you believe that? Now, staff have a stick and some pepper spray and some handcuffs. That's what's guarding you, society, here in Vancouver from an escape from North Fraser Pretrial. Yeah. And you can thank Harbippan Cheema for this last escape and not deploying staff to be out there 24 hours a day watching this, and for not implementing a proper protocol for all contractors that work in the exterior of the prison, so they don't come in there with a oxygen acetylene torch and start cutting through the actual fencing and breaking somebody out of jail. Yeah, thanks, Harp. Thanks for endangering the public. I think the best thing for you to do, Cheema, Warden Cheema, is to actually resign. You know what your responsibilities are. I know what your responsibilities are. You actually could have deployed people to work out there 24 hours a day and stop this, and you actually could have created a protocol where all contractors that are going into the secure rear area of the prison should be screened and checked out by your staff. But you didn't do it, and there you go. It's your fault, your responsibility, and thank goodness no other staff members were hurt. But now the public is in danger because of this murderer, or alleged murderer, is out on the lam now. So post your comments down below and let me know about this breaking story here in British Columbia. In the meantime, folks, stay safe, keep your wheels in the ground. I'll talk to you soon. Over and out.
Can go to figure out what we've done, what we need to do. Yeah, I got you, I got you, I got you.